Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Sarah from Who I Am Among the Pages, and if you're new here, thanks for stopping by, and if you're not, thanks for sticking around. So today I am doing my November 2020 reading wrap-up, and I will warn you ahead of time, it is not going to be that exciting because I did not get a lot of reading done. Unfortunately, I had to come home at the end of October because of a family emergency, and that just took a lot of time to handle. And on top of that, I'm also a college student, and finals are coming like within the next two and a half weeks. So I am trying to, when I have time, go ahead and pre-film. So you'll probably see at least one more video where I look exactly the same. But nonetheless, let's get into it. So the first book that you guys probably already know that I read during the month of November was, I hate to even bring it up, guys, Insomnia by Stephen King. I started this book in October at some point, I think like towards the end of my isolation, and I got out of isolation for COVID on the 16th, so it took a while to read, and I just finished it like the day or two before Thanksgiving, so it was very recent finish. I did give this 1 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I have an entire book rant filmed about this, so if you would like more information, you are welcome to go and watch that whole video. But long story short, I really did not like this book, both for the length, because it really could have been told in much like half the amount of pages. It just did not need the length that it has. Content wise, I didn't like it because it rambled a lot. Again, it was just too long, and it bounced between the ordinary and the absurd in a way that I didn't find pleasurable to read, and I don't think really told the story that King was trying to tell to its fullest advantage. So basically this book does follow an older man who's just lost his wife, who then goes through a bout of insomnia and begins realizing that things are not what they seemed in his small town of Derry, Maine. Very interesting concept, but again, it spirals out of control, and I really didn't enjoy it. I will link my book rant though in case you do want to know more information. And you know, if you're a huge King fan and just want to read all of his books, go for it. Like, I can think of worse books, honestly, but not a whole lot. I don't think after reading this book that I'm going to be reading much Stephen King, like, ever again. It completely ruined my opinion of him. So the next book I read, and again, I have done a book rant that went live on November 29th, in case you guys do want to know further information about it. I read Girl in Blue by Anne Rinaldi. I did give it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, I believe. I really enjoyed it. This was a book I had read as a kid, and really enjoyed back then, so there's a lot of nostalgia attached to this book for me. And it completely lived up to that nostalgia. The story follows 16-year-old Sarah Louisa, who learns that she is going to be married off to this disgusting neighbor that she hates and is much older than him. Much older than her. So she flees her family and joins the Union Army during this, the American Civil War. She's disguised as a woman disguised as a man, fights in the war, and soon enough she finds herself enveloped in a much more complex world than what she thought she had signed up for. It's full of treason and espionage, and it's just a lovely story that follows a very strong female protagonist, has little hints of mystery and romance and a whole lot. There are details of battle scenes and war, so if that is something you are sensitive to, as well as some racially divisive content that I don't really care for, that I think the story could have been very well told without. I wouldn't recommend this book, but if that is something that you are okay with reading, that won't completely ruin the reading experience for you, then I do recommend this book. But note that there are sensitive topics due to both the time period and the subject matter. So this is going to be a very quick reading wrap up. The third book I have read in November, I have not finished because it actually belongs to my December 2020 TBR, and you will be seeing that before you see this video. Hopefully by the time you see this, I will have already finished the book, because I am planning on finishing it tomorrow, which is Tuesday, December 1st. And that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I did take the dust jacket off of it. I am on page 208 out of 416, so I'm exactly halfway through. And this is not my first time reading it. I read this when I was probably a sophomore in high school, and I loved it. There was nothing about this book that didn't captivate me, from the characters to the setting to the rich adventure that we find ourselves following the main character Farah in, as well as it being an excellent retelling of Beauty and the Beast that does a great job at including both a very original plot as well as some very characteristic motifs and events that are twisted a little bit to be different from the traditional and beloved Disney classic of Beauty and the Beast. But yeah, so I love this book. I still loved it. I believe when I read it the first time, I did give it 5 stars on Goodreads, but I am withholding that final judgment until I do actually finish it. Note that there are some scenes of, I don't want to say sexual violence, but some fairly sexual graphic content, or suggestive content at least, as well as some mentions of familial violence and violence towards an older person. So again, if those are things that you are sensitive to, then as much as I love this book, I do not recommend it. But yeah, so unfortunately that is all that I got to read in the month of November. If you've been following me for at least a few days now, you'll know that I've recently gotten a lot faster with reading. Not really sure why all of a sudden. But yeah, so I am going through books a whole lot faster than I have been, and during the month of December I am challenging myself to read at least 100 pages a day, and I have quite the ambitious TBR. So December's wrap up will probably be a lot more exciting than this one, and I do apologize for a dull video. As usual, my Goodreads and Wattpad accounts are linked down below in case you want to keep up with what I'm both reading and writing. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to comment down below, and I would also love to hear your opinions on these books if you've read them. So yeah, real short video today, guys. I hope you guys have a good one. See ya!